What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy JB coming to you today with the review for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta Season 7, Episode 13. And this episode was titled Cowgirls Gone Wild. So, without further ado, let's get the video started. Alright, so this episode basically started out with you got Jasmine, you got Just Barney, and you got Tiara meeting up with each other. So, Just Barney comes over to where Tiara and Jasmine are. So basically her whole thing is, she left the party early because of, Erica Mena in the corner booing her and all that shit. But sorry, Just Barney, but your music sucks shit. Nobody here in Texas supports your fucking music, so nobody in so I wouldn't even expect Erica to, or anybody to support your fucking music. You suck shit, to me, to be quite honest with you. I don't fuck with your music. I don't fuck with you. So that's how I feel about that one. So like I said, she goes over there. She wants to know basically what happened with the whole Jasmine and Rashida situation, if they came, like I said, because she left early. So they did tell her that, they did come and they, met with Rashida and all that stuff. And Jasmine's whole thing is that she felt like she was humiliated by the way that Rashida read her. But I'm like, girl, you should have felt humiliated. First of all, you should feel humiliated because you are basically stalking this woman, trying to have a conversation with her about something that she does not have to have a conversation with you about at all. You fucked Kirk. You had a baby with Kirk. Rashida doesn't owe you any kind of explanation. So I don't really get Jasmine in this whole situation of, oh, I want to sit down and talk to Rashida. I get that you want to apologize to Rashida, but it's up to Rashida if she wants to receive that apology and all that kind of stuff. So you popping up all this kind of stuff is stupid as fuck. And then, Just Barney talking about how she is Team Jasmine. I'm like, well, and I for a minute there, I was kind of shocked and surprised. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not shocked at all because holes of a feather got to flock together. So, I wouldn't feel any other way with the hoe talking about she's here for another hoe. So it is what it is with that situation. But and then Jasmine, she's talking about how when she got pregnant and she had the baby Cannon, how Kirk was there the whole time. Only time that Kirk left was when Rashida found out about Cannon and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, no shit, Sherlock. He of course he's gonna be there because his wife, when Rashida didn't know, of course Kirk is gonna be there because Rashida's none the wiser to it. But once Rashida found out, Kirk was like, fuck you and fuck the baby. Unfortunately, that's sad to say, but that's how things go when you sleeping with a fucking married man, you dumbass hoe. Like, what do you expect? You slept with a married man and you got pregnant by a married man. Like, Kirk is wrong for what he did, but what do you expect? Like, I just don't get it when it comes to that one. What do you expect this man to do? You expect him to say, oh, you know what, Rashida? I got this whole baby on the side of you. Let me go be with this little girl and raise our baby together and say, fuck you and our family. How does that sound to you, Jasmine? Pretty stupid, huh? Yeah. So I don't know what you were expecting with that whole situation. But I digress from that. So basically, you get what's coming to you. Like, karma's a fucking bitch. Have you ever heard that saying? Karma's a bitch. So that's how I feel. No sympathy for Jasmine. I wish Kirk would be in his son's life, but you can't force him to do anything that he does not want to do. So I feel bad for Cannon. I don't feel bad for Jasmine, and I hope the situation rectifies itself at some point. Okay, so now we have the next day after the grand opening and the after party. The whole group meets up. This is when they're getting ready to head to the Dude Ranch. So you have two different buses, and you have certain people on one bus and certain people on the other bus. And I know for a fact you had Jock, you had Carly, you had Erica, you had Estelita, you had Reggie, who was Melissa on the bus, and on that bus, I would not have wanted to be on that bus with Carly Red. Oh, and Sean Garrett. I would not have wanted to be on that fucking bus with them because, Carly gets on the bus and immediately she starts going after Sean. And I'm like, what the fuck did Sean do to you? Like, he just sitting there minding his fucking business and here you go, talking shit about him and all that kind of stuff. And then they start going back and forth with each other. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, really? Y'all two are acting like immature ass kids. Like if I hadn't been watching this whole season, I would never believe that Carly Red and Sean Garrett were ever in a relationship. And I actually don't even buy that whole relationship that they were in, because there's zero chemistry between those two. And Jock's whole thing is, he's glad it's not him that Carly is going back and forth with. And then on the other bus, you got Tokyo, Rashida, Kirk, Spice, Mimi, her girlfriend Ty, and I forget who else was on that bus. They having a good time on that bus. They talking. Rashida's telling them all about. Erica was on the bus with Carly Red. Them, I forgot about that. But on the bus with Rashida, them, they talking about what's gonna be done when they get to the Dude Ranch and all that kind of stuff. They talking about they want to go horseback riding, and I died laughing at Tokyo, because she was like, her and that horse about one and the same, so she's not about to get on that horse because it's animal cruelty. And I'm like, I died laughing. Tokyo, she's been hilarious this whole season. She's made me laugh and all that kind of stuff. Like, I really do enjoy Tokyo. So this whole trip from Houston to the Dude Ranch they said it takes about 4 hours, give or take. But while they're on the way there, one of the bus's tires blew out, so they had to sit on the side of the road. And I don't know if they sat on the side they sat in the parking lot at Walmart, had a good time and all that kind of stuff. They were all on Instagram Live, posting it and all that kind of stuff, and having a good time. And like I said, they were sitting there waiting for the bus to get there, and then the bus finally gets there and gets them to the Dude Ranch. And it's late at night, and they're basically all tired as hell. So once they get inside, Rashida and Kirk give them their keys, and they tell them that it's kind of like a little scavenger hunt. They give them the keys. The keys have their names on it, but they don't tell them where their rooms are. The key is they have to go up to each and every room and try the key in the lock and see if it unlocks it. And if it unlocks it, that's their room. I would have been like, you know what? It took 4 hours. It was supposed to take us 4 hours to get here. One of the bus's tires blew out. Now we here late at night. I would have been like, nah, bitch. You gonna tell me what room I'm sleeping in for real? Because like, a nigga ain't got time for this games and bullshit. Tell me what room I'm sleeping in right now, or I'm gonna hop my ass back on that bus, and it's gonna take me right back to Houston, and I'm gonna hop my ass back on the plane and back to the ATL. But it was all, I guess they all had a good time. So basically, that was it for night two of the Dude Ranch trip. All right, so we start up day 3, and it starts up with Kirk and Rashida. Rashida's like, oh, her and Kirk, they slept in the same room the night before, but they didn't sleep in the same bed. I'm like, bitch, who the fuck you think you joking? Even if y'all didn't sleep in the same bed, I bet you y'all fucked. Like, come on, Rashida, you are not fooling us one bit, my nigga. Like, get the fuck out of here. You and Kirk are back together, and y'all living in the same house. So what the fuck does it matter if y'all sleeping in the same bed at this Dude Ranch or not? Like, I really don't give a fuck. No, I don't think anybody gives a fuck at this point. Like, you two storyline is draining, boring, and old as fuck. So, like I said, they're in the room together, and they're basically talking about the whole Jasmine situation and all this kind of stuff. And Rashida's whole thing is she feels a kind of way because Kirk doesn't have Jasmine on a leash. But what do you expect? This girl has come to press looking for you and all this kind of stuff. Every time you turn around, the bitch is looking for you. And Kirk has had a conversation with the little bitch, but it doesn't seem to faze her anyway about coming up to you, wanting to have a conversation with you. So at this point, I'm actually glad that Rashida and that girl had a conversation. So now we ain't got to sit here and deal with that shit anymore. And damn, this season is almost over. I'm like, what the fuck? It took us 12 episodes for Rashida to have a conversation with this little hoe. Like, oh my god. But like I said, I'm glad that it happened, and now we can finally just move on from this shit and put it behind them. I get how Rashida feels. It's not her place. Jasmine slept with Kirk, not her, and had a baby with Kirk. So I definitely get Rashida's point, and I definitely see everything where it comes down from Rashida. She didn't owe Jasmine anything, but it's over, it's done. We can move on from that, and whatever. I really don't care about that whole situation. I'm over that, and I'm over them. For real, like over them. Okay, so while they're on this dude ranch, basically the whole group is unplugged. They have no cell phones, no Wi-Fi, no TV, no nothing from the, basically from the outside world. So, they all, you got the guys out there messing with the animals and all that kind of stuff. You got BK, Sean, and Jock. And then you got Carly, Sierra, and Tokyo. And, they are talking. And then, I'm over Carly Red with this whole fake shit when it comes to Jock. Like, every time she walks up to Jock, she wants to hug this nigga, talking about, oh, hey, Jock, and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, Carly, how fucking old are you to be? Like, you too old for this shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, and I get what she's trying to do. She's trying to make Sean jealous, but I don't really think Sean is jealous at all. When it comes to Carly flirting with or messing with Jock, like, who gives a fuck, to be quite honest with you? Like, really? So, they once they all meet up, they get a show put on by Pistol Pack and Paula. And after that's done, they all, go get their food and they go sit down and eat. So, this is when they all start to talk about, talk about everything. And I'm so over Spice and her bullshit. Because Spice keeps talking about, Tokyo threw the purse at me. And I'm like, are you going to tell why Tokyo threw the fucking purse at you? You were talking about her fucking weight and all this kind of stuff. That's why that bitch threw that fucking purse at you. She didn't just get up and just throw a fucking purse at you for no fucking reason. She threw the purse at you because you mentioned her weight, which was rude as fuck, Spice. So, miss me with that bullshit. So, they're sitting down and they're talking about this again. And Spice's whole thing is the fact that Carly Red told Spice that, when she had that conversation with Tokyo, that, Tokyo said fuck her. Which Tokyo said, she did say that. Basically, she said, fuck a Tobias, fuck a Spice or a Paprika, and then fuck a Carly Red. Because she wasn't here for that shit. And then Carly Red just went back and flipped it and made it into something completely different, and that's why this whole shit has spiraled the way it has, because Carly Red is messy as fuck, and she took something and flipped it and made it seem like it was something completely different, which it really wasn't. So, they're arguing back and forth with each other, and Tokyo, why do I keep wanting to call Spice Tokyo? Spice calls Sierra a hypocrite. So the reason why Spice calls Sierra a hypocrite is because, after that whole brunch that they had, Spice is saying that, Spice is saying that Sierra called her and, telling her that, the whole thing was Tokyo's fault and all this kind of stuff. But then, Spice is saying that Sierra's a hypocrite because she went back to Escalators telling her that, it was Spice's fault, which that is true. It was your fault, Spice. You did mention this girl's weight. So what did you expect her to do? You expected her to sit there and be like, oh, you calling me fat? I'm just going to sit here and take this shit? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. If you're talking about something that affects, if you're talking about somebody like that, you have to be willing to deal with whatever they throw back at you. If it's an actual punch, a purse, or an insult, you have to sit there and be able to take it. So they all, like I said, they're sitting here arguing. So Spice takes it upon herself to throw her plate at Tokyo, and that plate connected right up around here in Tokyo's head. I'm like, God damn. So they start fighting with each other, and then security. I'm over security when it comes to Tokyo. I get that she's a big girl, but y'all ain't gotta manhandle that girl like that. Like, for real, y'all are always manhandling her. It take that many of y'all to hold her down. Like I said, I get that she's a big girl, but I don't think y'all are handling her in the right way. So that's how I feel about that. And then, out of nowhere, while Tokyo and Spice are going at it with each other, BK was over there trying to help calm Tokyo down. But on the other side, you got Escalators and Sierra going at it with each other. And they arguing and fighting with each other. And if anybody noticed through that whole scene, the Escalators lost that fucking accent. Like, I didn't hear no Panamanian accent whatsoever from Escalators. I heard a natural American accent. Don't know where it was from, but I heard an American accent, not that Panamanian bullshit that she keeps trying to parade around. And I was really confused about that one. And Sierra better, she's better than me, because escalators got a hit on her. I would have knocked the dog shit out of her, for real, for real. So while they are holding back Sierra, BK and escalators get into it, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, goddamn. I was really confused by this whole scene. Like, everybody is sitting here arguing with each other. And then, they put Spice in the van, and Spice was like, they messing with her friend escalators and all this kind of stuff. And then as they're trying to drive off, that's when Spice hops her ass out and runs and tries to fight Tokyo once again. And then escalators hop out the car again, trying to fight Sierra. It's just a whole big bunch of crap. Like, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And they all doing this in front of these white people, just like with Black Ink Crew Chicago. Y'all acting a fool in front of these good white people. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was embarrassed just looking at this whole scene. But like, that was really crazy. Like, so once they get escalators and Spice out of there, Sierra kind of gets into it with Carly, because once again, this is all Carly's fault. Carly could have kept her fucking mouth closed about the whole Tokyo talking about Spice, which Tokyo really didn't talk about Spice. All she said was it was fuck all of them. And Carly goes back and flips this whole shit. So out of nowhere, Carly and BK start arguing with each other, and then Carly brings up her dad. I'm like, girl, your daddy ain't got. I mean, I get what's going on with your daddy is traumatic and all that kind of stuff, but that ain't got nothing to do with this situation. You started this shit, and then you want to bring up your daddy when they come at you with the shit that you started. Like, girl, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like, I wasn't here for that. But I would have been just like what Mimi was doing. While these niggas sitting here arguing with each other and Mimi over there eating her food, I would have been Mimi. I'm like, I would have been like, shit, fuck y'all fight. I'm going to sit here and eat my shit and just be good and all that kind of stuff. So, once this is all over with, not Tokyo, but Carly Red, she goes off by herself, and then Jock comes up and try to, find out what's wrong with her and all this kind of stuff. And, Jock is talking about how, they need people to mind their business and all that kind of stuff. Well, the number one person that needs to mind their business is the person that you're talking to right there. Is Carly. And then, he mentions that, she mentioned her dad and all this kind of stuff. And then she kind of breaks down and talking about her dad and all this kind of stuff. And then, she tells Jock that she wants him to meet her dad. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why do you want him to meet your daddy? Like, y'all not together. But again, this is one of Carly Red's mind tricks, and she just want to fuck with Jock. And I'm like, oh my God, girl, you need to grow the fuck up, like, for real. So you get Sierra, she's talking to Rashida, and I believe she was talking to Minna. And so the reason why Sierra and Escalators got into it was because of Tokyo. Damn it, why don't I keep wanting to call Spice Tokyo? Because of Spice, when she said that Sierra was a hypocrite. So basically, Sierra's thing was, that's why she went up to Escalator. She wanted to know what made her a hypocrite and all this kind of stuff. So basically, she tells us what happened after the whole situation with Tokyo and Spice. Basically, she went up to Carly Red, explained to her everything that happened at the brunch, and she wanted Carly to kind of, talk to Spice, and her and Spice are cool. But Carly didn't want to, for some odd reason, Carly didn't talk to Spice about it. So Sierra took it upon herself to call Spice and have a conversation with Spice and just tell Spice, hey, that was kind of fucked up what happened. You mentioned her, you called her fat and all this kind of stuff. And basically what Sierra was trying to do was trying to get those two to come together, talk, have a conversation, and squash the beef. But somehow it got flipped around that Sierra was being, a flip-flopper, talking about that Spice was wrong and telling Tokyo, basically, let me get my words together. Basically, it seemed, it got flipped. Like, Sierra was telling Spice that Tokyo was wrong, and then going back and telling the leader that, in fact, Spice was wrong. So I really didn't understand that whole scene, to be quite honest with you, because I really don't get how Spice don't see that she was wrong for coming at Tokyo the way that she did. You mentioned this girl's weight, which was completely a low blow. So of course she's gonna retaliate some way So that's how I feel about that one. Pretty much, Spice was wrong. I don't think Sierra was a hypocrite, and Escalators lost their fucking accent. So that's how I feel. All right, so we're at the end of night 3. So you get Reggie from Nutty Professor talking to Spice. So basically, they're trying to figure out how to make things better between Spice and Tokyo at this point. And then, Tokyo's whole thing was she is once again saying she does not have a problem with Spice at all. It's just that Carly Red has gone back and flipped everything and made not Spice, Tokyo out to be the bad guy, by saying that, Tokyo was saying fuck Spice and all this kind of stuff, which she did say fuck her, but not in the sense that, fuck that bitch and stuff like that. She was like, oh, it's fuck you, fuck her, fuck him. So, that's how it is. And, Carly Red is just being messy. And, Melissa is like, she wants Tokyo to take accountability for her part in the whole situation. But Tokyo doesn't have any part in this at all. It's all Carly Red. So, like I said, because Carly went back and told something, and she flipped it and manipulated it to what she wanted it to be. And when so Tokyo telling her when she sat down with Spice, she was telling her that there was no problem with her. So for her to mention her weight and all this kind of stuff, it threw her off, because and I know anybody can tell this ain't the first time that Tokyo has heard somebody mention her being fat or something like that, because I'm pretty sure she's heard that a lot in her life. But Tokyo's whole thing is, she has been a fighter and all that kind of stuff, and she's finally starting to break free of that image that she had. And her whole thing is, I guess Tokyo's whole thing is, you can say whatever you want to about her, but she's trying to be a role model for young girls who look up to her because of her, her size and all that kind of stuff. And I'm completely 100% here for Tokyo in this whole situation, because I really respect that. Like, it takes a strong person to be comfortable in the skin that they in, and just want to be better for themselves, and show other people that, hey, just because you are a size, you could be a size 10, 15, whatever, just be comfortable with who you are and don't change for anybody else but yourself. So I 100% respect Tokyo in this whole instance, and I'm here for Tokyo. So Melissa asked Tokyo, would she sit down and have a conversation with Spice? And Tokyo says that she will sit down with her. So with Rashida and Melissa, they get Tokyo and Spice to kind of sit down and have a conversation with each other. And when they sit down with each other, Tokyo once again tells Spice that she doesn't have an issue with her. And then Spice's whole thing is, she's talking about Carly Red mentioning that she said fuck her and all that kind of stuff. And then Tokyo was like, yeah, I said fuck. She said, yeah, I said that. She said, that's how I talk. She said, and she told her in the context of which she said it, fuck you. And she also tells Spice, she's like, well, when I came to that table, you could have easily asked me, what did I say? And she said she would have repeated it. But, not Tokyo. Spice is like, she didn't know Tokyo at that time, so she didn't want to ask her nothing. And I'm like, that's fucking stupid and ignorant. If you sit here in front of the bitch and supposedly she said some shit about you, wouldn't that be the first thing you ask her? Like, yo, I hear you talking shit about me. So if you talking shit, run back what you said about me and squash that shit right then and there. But eventually they do decide to say, hey, while we're here in Houston, let's just squash it, move on, and enjoy the rest of this trip. And last week after the episode aired, Spice, she went on Instagram and she had a picture of her and Tokyo together, and she she apologized to her, and she said that they cool, which whatever. I still think Tokyo, shit, why do I keep wanting to call Spice Tokyo? I think Spice was once again wrong for her whole approach when it came to Tokyo. She could have came at her a different way, but that's how I feel about it. I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but that's just how I feel, that she could have came at her like a mature grown woman instead of taking jabs at her weight. She could have just easily said, yo, I hear that you've been saying this about me, let's clear the air, and moved on from there, and none of this shit would have ever happened. And that's how I really feel about that one. All right, and lastly, after Spice and Tokyo have their meeting with each other and agree to move on from it, the whole group gets together for the campfire. And Rashida, out of nowhere, she's talking about how she wants the group to come together and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh no, what you about to do now? So she mentions the whole escalators and Sierra situation, and then they both arguing over each other. And escalators is talking about how Sierra gets involved in all kind of stuff, like last season when she got involved with escalators and Carly Red's situation, and then her getting involved with the Tokyo and Spice situation, and how she popped her and all this kind of stuff. And Sierra told escalators the only reason she got that good hit off of her was because security was right there and all that kind of stuff. And then they start arguing with each other once again, and that's how the episode pretty much ended. So that was Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later tomorrow for Basketball Wives.